Hi, what's up, guys? Back at it again, making a quick book review for the book Dimensions, a casebook of alien contact by Jacques Vallee. Super awesome book. I got an Audible. I actually had it for like maybe 2 months. I had to listen to it like a few times just to kind of get the feel of what Jacques or Mr. Vallee was saying, or Dr. Vallee was saying. A very interesting book. It's one of those old school books that's up there in like UFO history, because Dr. Jacques Vallée is a big time, huge player in the UFO sphere, alien sphere. He's been in the game since the 60s. He's a French physicist by day, and then I guess UFO researcher by night. And he has been doing it for like 50 years, pretty much. Yeah, 60 years. Long time. He was in the movie, I believe it's around that time, 50 years, I believe, 60. But he was in the movie, a portrayal of him, the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That was a movie by Steven Spielberg in the 70s, very popular movie too. So this guy, yeah, he's been at this forever and he knows his stuff. I was going to say, awesome book. I like it. I had an Audible, like I said. I was listening to it for like 2 months. I had to repeat it a few times just because kind of slow. It's just case after case after case of him talking about potential UFO encounters, UAP encounters in history. So I can already believe in that stuff, but if you don't believe in UFOs or you're kind of on the fence, it's good that you kind of listen to all these reports. He goes back in history thousands of years, I believe like at least 2,000 years. So he has stories from every continent, every country pretty much. Europe, South America, North America. I believe also the Pacific Islands too. And he's just going throughout all the cases. Everything that he's researched and discovered, he's put forth. And some of these cases are pretty startling and alarming. For example, he's covering, I guess, encounters with, I guess, strange phenomenon like fairies in Europe, in Ireland, little people, humanoid humanoid figures walking out of like UFO craft or ET craft, whatever you want to call it, UAP craft, like humanoid figures, aliens, quote unquote. He's talking about kind of demons and like tales, like in historical tales, like a demon coming to a town and like setting stuff on fire. I know it sounds crazy, right? He's talking about like abductions, like how these like fairies would like abduct people into mountains or abduct people into different dimensions, realities. And he's talking about just like strange lights. Like, for example, there's this one case of a samurai in Japan, I believe it's in the 1200s, 1300s. He's about to get his head chopped off by other fellow samurais, about to be executed, and right before they kill him, a UFO or strange orb appears right above, I guess, the scene, and all the executioners see it. They think it's like God or some kind of like sign or something. They all run off, and the guy who was about to be executed, he's saved. And he just breaks down all the cases. Like another one is in like Brazil, they're in like 1950s or 1960s. There's a guy who's just out there like in his fields. He's like, this is a popular case too. He's out in his fields tending to his, I guess, to his fields, to his farm on a tractor. Then a UFO comes, and then he's abducted into the UFO, and then like he has, I guess, some sort of like, not a romantic encounter, but he has like intercourse, I believe, with like an ET. Kind of crazy, right? And I guess this, I guess it can be summarized like maybe the ETs were like doing some sort of like experimentation and research purposes, like breeding purposes. Who knows? Like alien purposes, alien hybrid purposes. Who knows? Human hybrid purposes. Who freaking knows? But he has a lot of cases he's talking about. He covers, so pretty much the book, the Audible thing was like 12 hours, or I believe it was like 10, 12 hours read or listen through it. And it's just case after case. I'm just trying to think about some ones that just like really stick out in my mind. Like there's one in France where there's like a little 3-foot being that like approaches a police officer, starts to, I guess, freak out the cop, because the cop's just going like, what is this thing? It's like a small, short humanoid figure, like wearing a weird spacesuit, like looks like a freaking like scuba diver type thing. And then it just kind of disappears or runs off. That's kind of a peculiar one. Another one in Brazil where there's like, or no, there's one in like Europe, I believe, where there's like kind of like these humanoid figures coming from the sky. They're talking to this is like in the, I believe this is like in the 1200s again, medieval times, 1300s. Um, they're talking to all these, I forgot what country it was in Europe, so they're talking to these Europeans, saying that we come from like a distant place. All of our people, we just live in this distant place, and we just come here for just, I guess, voyages or some kind of like, like sightseeing, kind of weird stuff. And if this stuff's notated in history, which obviously it was because it was in this book, Jacques Vallee just went through the historical timeline. He researched all this stuff. It's kind of crazy. So all these countries, all these places, they have all these encounters with humanoids, UFOs, strange beings, anything that's like paranormal or like, that's just not normal, is like, he wrote about it, and he made as many, or he sought out all the cases and made the strongest possible case for, this, I guess you would say, for this phenomenon being real. So case after case, story after story, going back at least 2,000 years. To sum it up, Jacques Vallee's whole theory of UFOs and ETs and aliens, he doesn't think they're actually aliens per se. He thinks they're coming from a different dimension. He thinks they're interdimensional or extra-dimensional, what have you. He thinks the phenomenon of ETs and aliens visiting us is just too strange to be explained by actual aliens, space aliens. He thinks it's something coming from a different dimension. He talks about string theory, quantum physics, all this other like kind of crazy physics stuff. And he lays out a case saying that like some of these reports, if they were actually ETs and aliens, if they're actually seeking information about us, they wouldn't need to actually touch down and interact with us. They wouldn't need to actually go into like people's, I guess in the abduction reports, like abduct people from their homes or their cars. They can just go to like any hospital or go to any library and just suck up all the information they want from there, or just take it, if they're already advanced enough. And then when people do get abducted, they don't really, it doesn't make sense what happens during those abductions. Like, what are they doing with the people? Are they just like they're just like doing examinations? I mean, all the information that they have, that ETs have about humans, is potentially already known if they've been visiting us for hundreds of years, thousands of years, etc. So there's no new information there. So the way I see it, the way I figure it, I guess, is that it could be interdimensional, could be extra dimensional. Some of the cases are pretty bizarre. They are pretty bizarre. But I still believe that there are actual ET aliens coming from different planets, different galaxies. I think that's the case. So I think it's a mix. Look at Skinwalker Ranch. That's a great book. I read that book too, The Hunt for Skinwalker by George Knapp and the other author. People in that book, scientists, I remember one story. They were at night, they had night vision cameras set up. They saw a portal open up in the middle of the night, in the middle of the field. They saw a like 10-foot humanoid walk from inside of that portal, walk through it, and then just walk off. Yeah, right? A freaking humanoid climbed through the portal and just walked off. So it's kind of insane. And then the portal closed up. So, and then there's other stories too on Skinwalker where like UFOs would actually come through portals. Like there was a one hunter guy that was actually perched on his like hunting post. He looked in the sky and he like saw a portal open up and he can like see through the portal. Yeah, pretty insane. So, in regards to Jacques Vallee's theory about interdimensional, extra-dimensional beings, I think maybe. Maybe he has a point here. Maybe he is correct to some degree. Or I would say, like, maybe, yeah, he is correct. But I think uh, it's a whole array of different things happening. So we have ETs, interdimensionals, even like some other stuff, like, because some of this is like trickster phenomena. They're like tricksters. They're like playing around with human being. Like that's what Jacques Vallée is right. He wrote about at the end of the book, that maybe they're like messing with us. Like they're they're just like playing games with our minds. They're trying to see how we react. And he's saying that like all their visits. Excuse me. Tired. A long work day. But all their visits, all their interactions with us, it just doesn't make sense because it's just too weird, too bizarre, too like, it doesn't seem like they have a scientific purpose for what they do. So yeah, I think it was a good book. So in terms of the book itself, it is a little slow. Like that's why I had to listen to it a bunch of times. You're just listening to like case after case after case, and some of these cases you'll be like, wow, that's insane. For example, another one, like there was a girl in this European village. She was like captured by like these elves. I'm not joking, about like elves. And then she got brought into a mountain. So I don't know how she penetrated the mountain, but she got brought inside of a mountain. There was like a whole like civilization in there. They had their own like towns or their own buildings, etc. inside of that mountain. And they were saying that like, yeah, we want to keep you there, but then like somehow she was like, I don't want to do it, and they let her go. And then it was insane. Then sometimes like when people get abducted by like these elves or these fairies or these other like, I guess, humanoids or like whatever you want to call them, they don't come back. Or if they do come back, like in the stories, like hundreds of years have passed. Like I remember this one story about this one, I think it was like Arabic, this Arabic person, like he I guess what encountered a fairy, I believe, or a little person. And you're not supposed to like I guess interact with them. You're not supposed to like, you know, do what they say or what have you. And if you do interact with them, you have to listen to what they say and actually like, you know, follow their directions, etc., or else something bad's gonna happen. But anyway, so I guess he interacted with them, and then he got taken to another place, like another kingdom. And then he was given orders to do this, to do that. And then I guess he was like, I'm not joking, like he was like given a horse. And then like one of the fairies was like, don't get off that horse until you get to your destination. But then he got off his horse, and then when he got off his horse too early. And then when he returned to his destination, he finally got to where he wanted to go. Like 100 years had passed, and then everyone he knew had died, and then like it was just like a whole different world. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. So, but yeah, in regards to the book, super tedious, super monotonous. Like those first, like probably like first, I would say if you're on Audible, it's like the first 5 hours, you're just like, what the heck? When does this end? But like, the last part, like the last chapter, like 2 chapters, he's talking about his theories about the interdimensional, different dimensions, how it might be a possibility where they're like trying to test us, trying to test our knowledge, or trying to test to see how what we would do if we encounter them. I think it's pretty useful. But if you're in the UFO world and you kind of pay attention to this stuff, Jacques Vallée did change his tune. He believes in ETs, if I'm not mistaken. He believes they're coming from different galaxies too. So yeah, again, it's a whole slew of different things. I highly recommend it if you're into ET books. But again, I don't want to make this review longer than it should be. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give this one like a 7, just because it's so slow in the beginning. If you want to just jump around, just maybe go to the last chapters. I would do that. But if you want to hear like historical reports of like different elves, the fairies, I believe there's Bigfoots too. Yeah, just listen to the thing or read the, you know, I guess fast read or skim through the first portions of the book, and you'll like it. But yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. Again, this is Dimensions, Casebook Alien Contact by Dr. Jacques Vallée. This was written 1989, so 1980s. So kind of crazy, old school stuff. But yeah, you got to just go through the historical record. That's what I like to. I like to read, read all like the original stuff, because then if you read the old stuff, you understand the current stuff, and like the new stuff or the current stuff is not so new because it's already been written about, right? So Anyway, hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, let me know, and see ya.